good morning, and welcome to your Business in Digital. I am Tamara Louise. Super excited to be here with you, lovely ladies. Michael is still on vacation. It's the longest vacation on the planet. How are you ladies doing this morning?
Oh, I am doing so well and excited for our conversation today.
Girl power again. We missed you, Mr. Barbados, but we're going to hold down the fort for you while you're headed back home. Look forward to seeing you next time. Let's get this
Absolutely.
party
Can't
started,
wait. Can't
ladies.
wait. I think we're going to have a jam packed conversation today. So let's kick to the intro. Good morning, and welcome to your Business in Digital. I'm Tamara Louise. Super excited to be here with you guys at your Business in Digital. We talk to you about how to really leverage your digital marketing activities to make sure that you're getting to that place of achieving your business goals and getting to that money in the bank. I love this show because you know what? We bring together a true small business. We always have sales and pricing in the building with Miss Michelle Gordon. We have finance. We need a CFO. So we have the CFO in the building, your virtual CFO, Andrea Ragu. Usually Mr. Michael Wilshire is with us, but he is in Barbados getting some sun, some action. So hopefully he'll be back soon. So we're a little jealous. And I'm Tamara Louie. I focus on all the digital marketing activities and again, how to get to that place of achieving your business goals through digital. So let me tell you where you can connect with us. You can connect with us on YouTube. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. Just subscribe. We're live in those places. If not, and you love to check out a podcast, check us out anywhere podcasts are found. Listen to the show, check out the show. Tell a CFO about the show. Tell a CEO about the show. Tell a business owner about this show. Tell a business executive about this show. We want you to really take those digital marketing activities. We know that you're doing them, right? But we want you to start seeing the ROI. We want you to see the difference. We want you to say, hey, digital helped increase my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. That's the conversation we want you to have with your CFO. This show is CFO approved. I'm telling you. I love saying that, right? It's so CFO approved. All right, let's get some applause. All right, fun times, fun times. So we are rolling today because today we are talking AI. We have a AI hot topic, and then we are rolling into AI again. I mean, it is such a big conversation, so I am pumped about this. So, Andrea, I'm going to kick it over to you to lead us through this AI conversation. The rise of AI, the influencer.
Yes. So, this is a very interesting topic. So, it's the rise of the AI influencer. So, what does that mean? Well, what it really means is that there's a growing trend of businesses using what they're calling AI influencers to market their brands, right? What that means is they're no longer using a real person. So, for example, there's one in India called Naina. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but Naina. You know, the world is her oyster, as they say. Her Instagram page has more than 320,000 followers. She's already a star in India as an influencer. She even launched a podcast called The Nanya Show, and she interviewed celebrities in India. So basically, she can do it all, right? She can teach you how in the videos she's teaching you how to do certain things, drape a sari, braid your hair. This is how they're explaining what Nanya does, right? She is a feminist and she's a perfect girlfriend. She's a girl's girl, but Nanya is not real. At least she's not IRL anyway. She's not in real life. And the thing is, there are many more like her. There's Kyra, who has 262,000 followers. There's Maya, who has 170,000 followers. And there's also Zara and several more. And they often collaborate with brands. And Nanya has herself has endorsed other influencers as well and other brands. So you have Kyra doing L'Oreal. You have Nika in Puma. So the list goes on. We have this whole list of AI influencers. So it's a growing trend, right? The influencer culture came about when the Gen Z phenomenon, and of course it defied the whole corporate logic, right? Basically, if you had a personality, you could have become an influencer. What is happening now? So that was a whole growth industry there by itself, if you remember, where everybody became an influencer and they were collaborating with brands. So what is happening now? Brands are opting to use this AI, their AI counterparts. And what, because why? In the corporate world, everything must be done now, right? They need things done now. They need things done fast. So brands are now opting to use AI influencers who could work 24 hours a day, consume a lot of data as opposed to a human influencer, and they attract no controversy. What does that mean? Well, you are programming the AI influence to say what you want. You're programming the avatar to say and do exactly what you want. So there's no oops. There's no, oh, we made a mistake or somebody said something wrong, as a human might do. So why are we talking about this? Well, here's what I want small business owners to understand. And I mean, later in the show, we're going to talk more about AI, but whether or not you agree with AI, because of course, the whole use of these avatars and AI influencers is attracting a lot of controversy, right? There's the whole concept of, well, the person is not real and you're perpetrating to have a real person. Let's set that aside for a moment. And here's what I want small business owners to think about when we talk about this AI influencer. Here's what the AI influencer is doing for these brands that small businesses can learn from, right? Whether or not you agree with the concept of using an AI influencer, I just want to highlight these 3 things that you can learn. 1, consistency in brand messaging. So the AI influencers are programmed to stay on brand and maintain a consistent voice and tone. So this reliability is building trust with customers. So as a small business, you need to apply that in your messaging as well. These avatars, they are giving the bigger brands these consistency in brand messaging. 2, 24/7 customer engagement. The AI influencers, of course, can interact with the audiences continuously, which makes them ideal for answering things like frequently asked questions and managing the social media channel. It's a program, right? What does that mean for you? Well, it means I want you to think about, what do you have in your space that is driving customer engagement? Do you have a tool that is allowing you to respond to your customer 24/7? And if you don't, how are you managing that? How are you managing your customer engagement? And the third thing is data-driven content creation. The AI influencers, they're leveraging the data as they interact with the audience to understand trends, to optimize content, and to personalize the interactions with followers. So as a small business owner, are you doing the same thing in your business? Are you getting that information of data-driven analytics that then drives your content creation? Are you able to take back that data and create content that speaks to that? And the reason why I am highlighting these things and I'm saying that I want business owners to think about it is because at the end of the day, these brands, this is how they are serving up themselves to people. And if you are in the same space and you are operating there, you are basically competing with these AI influencers now, whether you like it or not. And whether you yourself agree to do it or support it, you need to understand that this is what other brands are doing in this space. And if their AI influencers are serving up the brand in a way that is better and faster and more reliable, that's what you're competing with. So whether or not you like it or you support AI, you have to understand what it is doing for the other brands, because ideally, at the end of the day, you are competing with that. And as a small business, you don't have all all the frills of bigger businesses and you're already operating with constraints, you need to consider how this is going to impact your business. So whether you get on board or not, think about, these are the 3 things I wanted business owners to understand that the AI influencer is doing for other businesses that you need to think about in your own business.
So good. So good. The AI influencer, man. That is just crazy.
Just cool.
It's just like where are we now, right?
Yeah.
But it's like people love that. They love the AI influencer, but the points that you really brought back home, which seems realistic, right? Because as business owners, we have to kind of start thinking about what's realistic for us. It's that brand consistency, the opportunity for 24-hour service, right? It really shifts the game. And as much as sometimes we feel like it's taking over, how can it be efficient and help your business? And that's what we sometimes need to think about first before we're thinking about, is the AI going to take over my life eventually?
Eventually it is, and that's where it's going. And you have to think about how you are competing with it. That's what I want business owners to understand, whether you support it or not, whether you like it or not. That's who you're competing with.
Right. No, 100%, definitely. Michelle?
I'm going to tell my age as we start going through this. This is taking me back to my childhood and the Jetsons. I don't know if you guys remember, there's a cartoon and they were projecting all of these things in the future.
Yes.
And one of the characters that they had was actually, it was
Judy, the robot.
Yeah, it was a robot. They were talking, they were anticipating.
I'm showing my age too.
It is. So, whoever the creator is, I hope they're making a whole lot of money and trademark some of this stuff back in the day, because we're going back a lot of decades. Let me just put it that way. And so if we think about it, it has been in our world and we just don't know it's been in our world until somebody like Andrea comes in and just tells, drops it on the plate and says, guess what, people? You're experiencing it now. And T, I think you're so correct. We have to stop in the fear space and say, how do we embrace this to help move our business forward and to be an ambassador for our business, or internally give us some information about us that we didn't see that the consumer will see. One of the things Andrea opened up with is the whole buying persona that they put out there, the avatar of how you should be representing your business, that they put out there as an AI ambassador. And I thought it was an interesting way to have an internal look in who you are. I'm going to tell a quick story because I know we have to move on, but food for thought. I had a friend send to me what seemed to be a recording of a talk show. And the talk show's goal was to analyze businesses and to give feedback on the business. And literally they'd scrape the website and I don't want to say picked apart, but analyzed and gave feedback on it. What I learned after I listened to it and gave my feedback was that it was all AI. It was audio, and it sounded just like a real talk show, a real, conversation and back and forth. But I found it really intriguing in this respect, but it was just the opposite on ways to improve the business, how to put your foot forward a bit better, how to improve. So embrace it, and it was all AI, unemotional, and a great way to look at the business. So find a way to embrace it, capitalize, and make your business efficient, and to make money off of it. Let's just be real. That's what we're trying to do, is to make money, to be out here for the long haul and be in a competitive space. So use it as your differentiator. That's your lanyard.
I can't give enough applause. You ladies are killing the game already. All right, cool. All right, that was a great topic. So now we are moving on to one of my favorite segments, which is our Go Beyond the Like segments. Our Go Beyond... All right, our Go Beyond the Like segment is this segment. All right, okay, come on, that's a lot. Sometimes I get carried away. So, what is our Go Beyond the Like segment? Our Go Beyond the Like segment is where we really focus in on those strategies. We get to the place of that money in the bank. What are we doing to drive that revenue? What are we doing to make sure that we're hitting those strategies? And we wanted to continue the conversation around AI because AI helps is sometimes with efficiency, right? Sometimes with, again, we talked about it, that brand positioning, that brand voice, really being able to stay open 24 hours. So AI has moved a long way in this process. And so today we are continuing the conversation and talking about the AI influencer revolution. Strategies for small business success, because it's important. It's so important. So I'm excited about this conversation. We were chatting in our group chat as to like, what are we going to talk about? And then Andrew brought up the idea of the AI influencer. And then we were just kind of like, hey, it's a lot more than just a hot topic. And so we want to have these AI conversations because more and more everyone is saying ChatGPT, everyone's using it, everyone's using Gemini. I'm using so many AI tools, so many tools that I'm using are using AI within the tools. And now I want to understand what can I do better and how can I be more efficient with my business. So I think this is going to be an amazing conversation. So point number one, and you kind of alluded to this point already, right? But I'm going to kick it over to you to talk a little bit more about the cost effectiveness of having an AI brand ambassador. I mean, that is game changing because if we had to really pay people or give people affiliate programs, create things where there's a cost to having a brand ambassador, right? So for a CFO, having an AI influencer or brand ambassador that you create, there may be a one-time cost associated with that. And so you can reap the rewards of that I'm like giving the point. What am I doing? I can't even help myself. I'm like, I got my CFO hat on. So over time, over the course of 10 years, it will probably start to pay for itself in year number 2 when you've covered the full cost of it and start to reap the benefits. And the ROI on that could be, 10, 20 years down the road. So there's a lot of future proofing there. So come on, CFO, did I get it right?
You absolutely did. You absolutely did. Give yourself a round of applause. You absolutely did. I think I'm rubbing off on you. But most definitely, yes. So this cost effectiveness comes from over time. So yes, it might have an initial setup cost, especially as you have to keep programming it over time. As we know how AI works, AI is one of those things that learns over time. So you may find you may have to get several campaigns going before you get the programming just right. But it eliminates things like setup. It eliminates things like physical costs of, let's say, going somewhere to shoot videos. It eliminates the whole concept of human influencers not being available. It removes the total wage negotiation conversation, right? There's no conversation anymore about what's your rate, because as you know, with the influencers, the more popular they get, the more pricier they get to work with you, because their reach, as they grow their followers and their reach gets bigger and bigger, you have, as a brand working with them, now have to pay more than you probably did 2 years ago, right? So it removes that type of cost from the conversation altogether. And like you said, over time now, it streamlines the cost structure of the company, because once that is set up and running and programmed, every year you probably just have some sort of maintenance fee or some sort of annual fee just to make sure it continues running, or you just continue paying your programmers the marketers their regular salary, so it streamlines things, as opposed to the spike that you may see every time you run a campaign and you have to rely on a human influencer. So this first point, yes, would be a point that a CFO would want to take interest in, because it means I'm going to incur some new costs that I may not have incurred previously. However, over time, I could definitely see some benefits to the cost structure.
I got
Go for it,
nothing.
Michelle.
No. What I find so interesting about this, especially again, there was actually a movie about this, and it was the group was actually selling eyeglasses, and it was quite interesting in what they were trying to move forward because one of their points of um, getting the information out to market when they first rolled it out was to hologram in their brand ambassador. So I'm going to put a different name to it, but their model was a hologram into the room. And so they did it digitally. So for those that were being broadcast in, but in the room, they hologrammed that very person into the room. So I found that really interesting too, when you're trying to tackle the cost effectiveness of the in-person meetings that you eventually have to have if you're going to a convention or something. They thought of all of this. Again, this was in a movie, but the Jetsons were a couple of decades ago, and they foretold what was happening here, and they did the very same thing. So think of there's different ways. If your business is primarily in a digital space, that is a way that you can definitely have a brand ambassador there. But then there's fun ways to actually do this if you have to do some things in person. There might be some components that you just simply cannot replace, but then that you're having an additive. This is a complement to what you're doing, and you have to think through the know, like, trust component of this when you're in person to allow the same seamless brand messaging to come across for those that are in person. But I think the AI brand ambassador is pretty daggone ingenious. Pretty ingenious. We're going to get into some other components that sales and sales related and conversion related later, but I think very great way to find a way to disperse the funds into some other areas.
So, point number two is that 24/7 customer engagement. And I mean, we can't get enough of that, right? Because we talk about people being on their phones at midnight. You can't sleep, you're binging, you're in that space where you're like, I want questions answered. While frequently asked questions are great and you can go and read them, having someone just, you type in and that person's responding to you, engaging with you could really be game changing and could get people into that middle of the funnel when they're alone on their phone. So there's a lot of good that can come from that with the AI ambassador working on responding and engaging with people. It would be interesting to understand how many times we lose people because we're not engaged enough with them. And so now here is a metric that says the more engagement increases, more people coming into your world and getting people to that space of, again, middle of the funnel, where we want people to start consuming our content.
I love this one because one of the things we speak about in this space, especially when you're in a digital space, is your ability to go beyond your local area or even within your country. You can truly become a global company. Part of being a global company is being available no matter where the sun rises. And or that 24/7 component about having an AI engagement allows you the flexibility to sleep, but also to be available to your client, regardless if the sun's down where you are, but it's high in another place. And that gives you a lot of flexibility in a cost effective fashion. And the analytics, you're right. It would be phenomenal to understand what now you have available to you since you have a 24/7 engagement ability with your buying community.
Yep, there's that salesman doing his or her thing, depending on the avatar, while you're sleeping. And as a small business owner, we don't have as much resources. So if you have something that is able to answer for you when you are not around, that could be a game changer for your business. And as Tamara said earlier, that could be your differentiator. The fact that you have people know that if I message 10 o'clock in the night, I'll get a response, I'll get some sort of information to tide me over till when I'm ready to make my decision. And the point I want to stick in here as well is that You're not saying that that's the only thing that the person is going to be getting, but it could supplement that human element. If your working hours are, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, at least if you have the chatbot or the AI in the other hours, at least it gets their question answered at that point in time, until you can come in the next morning and say, oh, this person was reaching out, let me finish the conversation with a human touch and say, hi, we know that you were asking us some questions last night. Do you have anything else you'd like to ask us? We're here to, and make sure you close the loop. So just food for thought.
And all along, consistency in branding and messaging. And this is where, as business owners, this is our gap sometimes, right? Because we want to say a lot of things, or we think we want to say a lot of things, but we don't necessarily, we need to maintain that consistency in messaging. What is the message, right? We help businesses navigate digital. We have a show that helps businesses where we talk about digital and digital marketing. We're delivering the same messages, just that we're breaking it down into bite-sized bits, right? But it's important that consistency is key, right? What is the pain points? What am I responding to? That consistency is actually what brings your customers through the door and keeps them moving through that space. So AI is really able to give you that consistency. You're able to say to AI, here's my message, here's my brand messaging. I now want to maybe reposition this for a different type of audience. It keeps that consistency within there. So it's actually really smart for your brand, because again, I think where most businesses struggle is keeping that consistency of that brand and that messaging. So this is a game changer right here, leveraging AI and the AI influencer for that.
Let me tell you, the really interesting thing about this when we think human versus AI is the lesson that we can learn. This is actually, well, let me pull back a bit. And for those that our community that's listening, don't be overwhelmed by this component of it. You at this stage have likely already built this. We've talked about this several shows back. Part of your homework is to understand who your target audience is, build that avatar. What is the core messaging? What pain are you trying to resolve for? How do you resolve for that pain? And what is the thing that you want to leave them with that helps you to differentiate? The three things that we talked about a couple of shows ago. What this AI component allows you to do is to think of the several different target audiences, take that core messaging, and then repeat it in its appropriate fashion for that audience that they're addressing. So when T talks about tone and tenor, the way that you deliver the message to one audience, to somebody that's buying gray glasses. I'm having a glasses moment if you haven't figured that out between last show and this show, or the red or the blue glasses. The way that audience receives information may be different, but the message is the same. We're just going to deliver it in a different way. That AI ambassador, it has been taught to deliver in a specific way, so they're not going to stumble, because we have prompted them appropriately to deliver it in the way that we need them to deliver it, in short form, the elevator pitch, or if it's a longer form, where there's more time to engage, they'll stretch it out a bit more and ensure that the appropriate message is delivered for the personality that they're working with. It's just that smart that they're able to deliver in that fashion, understand what the call is, and respond appropriately to that person that they're delivering a message to, either like this, audio, or in the chat form. So there are multiple ways to do this 24/7. Just saying.
And like I said in the hot topic, there's no oops moment. The risk is lower. As you know, with humans, we're human. So we say things that may not make sense, or in the moment we respond with an emotion, and that could be detrimental to our brand. How many times have we seen brands have to apologize thereafter or disassociate themselves from an influencer because of human actions, because of some things that were said and done and that sort of thing? So what I like about this is, that ability to make sure that we consistently put out there what we, that control to say, hey, this is how we want to be portrayed, and there's no risk that somebody else you know holds our brand in their hand, if you understand what I'm saying, by their actions. There's a lower risk that something can go wrong. All right. I mean, I'm not saying it's good to, it's 100% perfect, but the way I see it is there's a lower risk of that oops, we got the wrong message.
Well, let me add to what you're saying too, to revert back to something that we've spoken about and that I've mentioned here in this space. This makes sure that you are on your game about what your business is standing on. What is the brand identity that you're trying to put out there to your buying community? How do you want the buying community to receive you and have an impression about your business through every stage of the sales journey, from the moment they enter your space to and through the sales cycle, because it's a never ending, it's a sales continuum. But here's where the AI component really helps you to fine tune, because it's garbage in, garbage out. You have to give it fences on what it can and cannot do and be real specific. The specificity is really important and aligns with what Andrea is saying, in that the oops doesn't happen. Well, the oops can happen if you don't prompt it appropriately. And because you're prompting it appropriately, because you've thought through, there is no release it to the public and, oh God, I hope it works out. No, there's some internal things that you're doing to ensure that happens. And because you're going through that trial and error, you fine tune what the messaging is for your business. So it actually helps you to be better on your game, because you're getting that immediate feedback on, oh, good Lord, that's not what I intended for it to say. Let me fix the prompting, or let me fix my messaging to accommodate what I really want my business to be seen as. So think of it that way. It really helps you to be a better business, and to ensure that you're inviting in the right people and that you're messaging appropriately and pulling them through the sales funnel and the sales journey appropriately, because you're delivering the right messaging regardless of the pain point that they throw at you, or the FAQ, all of those things, because you're building it for your ambassadors, maybe an in-person or an AI version of it.
Ooh, super, super smart. Yeah, I love that. That's a really great point. All right. So this one is a good one. This one, I love this one. You know why I love this one? Data-driven content creation, because that is where we absolutely need to be. Data-driven content creation, right? And how do we create the data-driven content? I feel like my words are like coming together. How do we create that, right? For a lot of people, they create content just to create content, but to create data-driven content, we're looking at what are people reacting to, and the AI automatically starts doing that for you. This is what they're reacting to. This is what really drives them, and they start to create that content that really matters, that becomes a little bit more engaging, that becomes a little bit more conversion potential. Because if they understand, hey, this is my sales funnel, and when we draw people in through that pain point, what's the next thing that gets them to take the next step? Then what's the next thing that gets them to take the next step? The AI is smart enough to formulate, hey, these are the content pieces that need to be developed to move people through your funnel. And they start creating that content. Now, can it go bad, as Michelle said? Absolutely. This is not a perfect science by any means, right? We're saying we like this, but we want you to think about some of the risks involved as well, too, right? It's a new technology, it's learning, it may take over, go rogue, but removing all those things to create data-driven content is so important for your business. We work to create data-driven content, right? The conversations that we're having, how do we get people to be more engaged? How do we use more pop culture things? How do we incorporate that? How do we really make sure we have lessons that businesses can learn? And then where's our call to action to draw people in? So this piece here, I think, is so critical, so important, and it really takes a load off of the business owner or the team to say, hey, this AI is helping us to create content. And then it guides your content strategy later on too, because if it's working really well, you can now say, okay, great. How do we really put this? Imagine your sales teams using something that the AI has created to further the sales offline. I see there's so many synergy opportunities there. So this could be game changing.
So as a CFO, I love this point because it removes the words I think and I feel. It removes those words from the equation, and we're talking about data. You're saying to me as a CFO, hey, we took this from the people. This is what the people are saying. This is what our audience is saying. And this is how we create something to answer those things that they've been saying. So it now becomes data driven. When you're putting out content, you are comfortable and sure that it's speaking to the specific points of the audience because it came from the data in the first place. So as a CFO, I love this point because it means somebody's not thinking and saying, I think we should do this, or I feel. It's about, nope, the market said this is what the analytics is saying, this is the data, and we're going to make content for this.
Love that content. All right. So moving on to our next point. Point number 5. Oh, this one is interesting. Scalable personalization. So Michelle, I'm going to kick this one over to you to start us off with this one, because I'm sure this is a good one for you.
I love this one. One of the struggles we and most small businesses have on the selling side is reaching your broader audience to ensure that you have business coming in the door. And there's only so much one person or two people, or if you're fortunate to even have 3 salespeople on your team, there's so many, only so many places and so many hours in the day. The idea of AI is it helps you to not only scale and have more of a many to many instead of one to many. That machine learning that T was talking about in that data analytics helps you to tailor your response to the person that you're dealing with at the time that they need and provide content that is key to moving them through the know, like, trust factor. What does that mean? That marketing message is going to cater to that target audience and how they receive information. How I'm going to absorb information is very different from how Andrew is going to absorb it. It will provide product recommendations. Think of the spaces that you're in now where you're purchasing something and you'll automatically receive a message that says other buyers have also looked at this plus this together, or it will say buy this plus this plus this and here's your price. It will help to do product recommendations for you and help to increase your average sales value as well. And it can make it feel more personal because you're meeting their need, and it will feel like you're anticipating what they want, giving you a better feel of your clients liking you and trusting you because it's as if you're anticipating what they need. But AI has served that up to you on a platter and allowed the sales process to happen on the back end as well. So I think I'm really big on this because we always talk about longevity, and this will help you to scale your business and personalize it as well. So you aren't just this big behemoth. And in a small business, it's really important to have that community feel. So I invite you to think about using it in this way, personalization and helping you scale.
Oh, that personalization is so important too, right? Because our customers all want to feel like we're talking to them, right? I want to feel like they know me. Oh my God, they got me. Oh, this email is so relevant to me. This is, oh, they're talking my language, because that's what's going to move me down the path, right? And that's when we have, I always like to say you have to put your customer hat on. And when putting that customer hat on gets you to the point of creating content that is personalized and then being able to really scale it, because people want to see themselves in the content. So the fact that AI can take and really then start saying, hey, yeah, this is, I'm presenting you to you, and this is what you sound like, and I'm echoing and I'm giving you, but I'm also giving you the answer to the questions that you're asking. It's this feeling of like, I'd buy from this AI bot. So I think there's some really great opportunity there. I mean, I keep thinking how scary it is, but I'm just like, so good for business, so good for business. Move me on the scary, because AI is good for business.
It sounds like having 2 or 3 different salespeople in one, right? Because you know, when you have a business,
Yes.
some people might prefer to deal with a particular person because like they have a relationship and say, well, this person helps me out, and or this person gets me. You know, they understand. You have that what you call a shorthand, because the person has built this relationship over time and they know this is what the person needs. So it's quite interesting, this point about scale, you know, that personalization on a scalable level. Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 in 1.
Love that. All right, let me give you ladies a round of applause because I think I got a boom up in here too. Boom. I feel like I haven't been using my sound effect forever. All right, too many booms. All right, so moving on along, we are moving on to, this is a really good one, right? Because this is how we got to LinkedIn. Experimentation with new platforms. Now, this was what, you know, 4 years ago in 2020 when we moved over to Clubhouse, and that was us experimenting in a new platform. So AI allowing you to experiment in a new platform sets the tone for you to move to other platforms, because what we did was we moved from Clubhouse to LinkedIn. But just imagine AI being able to say, this is what works on Twitch, this is what works in Spaces, this is what works on Snapchat, in spaces that you may not exist but your customer base exists. And experimenting on those new platforms could really lead you to a new set of followers, a new set of people who could engage with your brand, a new set of people who may want to buy from you. It's huge, right? Every Monday morning, there's a new platform. We sometimes have to be like, okay, I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's a new platform. Oh my goodness, what do we do? So you're always thinking about, how do I extend my brand? How do I reach people where they are? Because my customers are in different spaces and different places doing different things. So how do I show up in that? And if AI allows you to create the right content for that platform that you're not on, it's A/B testing at its finest. Simply put, it's A/B testing at its finest. So you know, this is the message I can take forth here, and here's the analytics that I'm seeing by creating this data-driven content on these new platforms and seeing people coming into your world. And if you're getting people to start coming into those worlds from the middle of your funnel, you can now say, this is a new platform or channel for me, and this is where we're going to show up, because CFO, we're seeing the movement, and this can lead to sales, right? It's an easy conversation. So I love that. We should always be thinking about what platform is next for us and for our business.
I think it's so important too, as here I go with my age again. As we evolve our businesses and as we mature through, you know, our professional careers, there's always something new that comes through, and something that's exciting and very different from what we're accustomed to. This helps you to get through that learning curve really quickly. The address an audience that you, in some instances, just can't relate to because we're from different generations. This helps you to navigate that space and to bridge the gap, because AI can help you to understand what that is. I remember the first time I was talking to Tia about the metaverse. And that was practically the face that I gave her when we were talking through, and to help to understand. But my learning curve was a little longer. But the younger people, my nieces, my nephews, they're like, "Come on, Auntie Shell, get with this. You're just really slow." But there are many, like she said, there's something that's out here every Monday. It's guaranteed we're going to open up to a new platform, and how your business can adapt, especially if it's important to your business, it's imperative for you to find a way to adapt quickly and to meet your audience where they are. And if that's where they are and you aren't, that's a sure way to kill your business. But if you're embracing AI, that let's face it, it's helping us to be efficient. It's helping us to learn faster. It's helping us to scale better. It will help us to get there in a way that works for you and your business. But the key is you got to lean in hard and embrace it. It's not set it and forget it. It's you continuously learning as it's learning the community and the new platform.
Yeah, Tamara, I remember when, with the whole Clubhouse days and, the experimentation that we had to do to make sure that you did that for a whole year plus, to make sure that you got what you wanted out of it. 365 and days in a row. And the thing about it is, this AI influencer can help you. You could probably do that in a quarter of the time. By the time you go in and you learn, you see, and it's going to take you a lot shorter time to learn these things and know whether you should even be there in the first place without going back to the cost effective point earlier. You're doing all of this with minimal spending, I guess, and less wasting of resources and time. Because think about how long, if you're learning a platform as a person, the time you have to invest to put things out there, to do all these things, the AI influencer can do that for you in a fraction of the time, So it's pretty, this is a pretty awesome point.
Oh, we love that point. All right. So this one here is a great point. User generated content and engagement. The AI influencer seems to drive people to create more user generated content, which is something that sometimes people just don't do. You know what I mean? Sometimes, we're like, oh, could you, write me a riddle and then sing me a song, send me a video. And a lot of times when I talk to my clients, I'm like, I'm not sure that people are going to do that, right? There's a level of, there's a hurdle to that. So the fact that AI is so engaging and has now created that data-driven content and is now saying to them, here are the things you need to hear in order to move down the funnel, now also inspires them to create content that then validates your business, which is where you really want to be. User generated content, good user generated content, the right user generated content is great for your business. We had Alex on the show last week or so, and I mean, that's some user generated content there where we can leverage some of the things that he said on the show. We did not even push him to say those things, but that's content that I can now take and utilize in my platforms, getting people to do things. You get to, again, it's the referral. It's they're really good. We like them. They feel like somebody we know. And that AI tool does that to get people to create content for you. I mean, that is, I know I say it a lot, game changing.
It is, and I love it. One from a sales side, one of the things I find is a barrier for many small businesses is that there is a fear or a downplaying of their ability to sell their business or to speak about their business, and they don't know what content to put out there. So it is a point of paralysis often with small businesses, and it's preventing them from moving into a space that's really important for them to move their business forward. AI helps you to take words that you think are not appropriate, and they make it pretty. It makes it pretty for you. And the other point that prevents people from coming to the space is, well, Michelle, I just don't have time to do all of that. I don't have time to engage and to find a way to do this, and I only have so much time available. That human resource is expensive, one, and two, if you're not consistently doing it, it can be detrimental to your business. AI is a supplemental assistant in that space to help you find the words in the appropriate fashion that's going to keep your clients engaged, like T said, but also consistency, that constant ability to keep going and keep that engagement going. When you don't have time, it can have time for you. It can be a pseudo replacement when you or your team is unavailable to do it, or just it's part of your team to ensure that keeps things moving. So look at it as a complement to your business, and it will help you to find the words that you struggle to find in your voice. And that's really key, that it's in your brand voice and communicates well based, again, on the prompt engineering that you utilized earlier. But I think it's imperative to think that piece through, especially in social spaces. It's really important.
what what she said. And I have nothing to add. What she said. I really like this point. But yeah, AI.
We got some booms, we got some stuff happening. So this conversation has been a great conversation, again, from the hot topics all the way down to being able to create, having user generated content. It's something that we want to make sure that businesses aren't fearful about, right? We want to make sure that businesses are leaning into this content and leaning into AI in a way that is making their businesses a little bit more efficient, and that you're really maximizing and getting as much as you can from it. I mean, sometimes I'm using an AI tool and I'm like, is that enough? Let me get some more. Right? I want to get everything I could possibly get from this tool, because I see where it makes me more efficient. I see where, if I have an idea, I'm like, okay, right away, how can I put this idea and move this idea and make it happen? Right. So I think it's an important part of the conversation. So, we've made it to our 7 points, which I'm super excited about. We've been moving really quickly. So I will kick it over to you, Michelle, to give us your 30 seconds on this whole AI world. What are your points for businesses? Give us your 30-second pitch.
For our community out here, I want you to consider AI as another team member. They are a valid, important part of your team to help to craft and move your business forward for scalability, for longevity, to help your business to be global, and to help you to be a pulse check on what's happening. Invited into your world, it can be a great sales assistant for you and move your business along in a fashion that helps you to set your business apart from the pack and from your competitive set, and can help you to find your lanyard, which is something extra. So invite it into your world, take a moment and pull your barriers down, invite it on in. It can help you to be successful.
Yes. Here's what I want small businesses to think about when they think about AI. I want you to think that AI is that additional resource, as Michelle might have alluded to, additional resource in your business that you can use in any aspect of your business. I mean, today we focused on the AI influencer parts of it, but I really want you to think about it as this additional resource in your business, because you are already constrained with resources and constrained with money, constrained with time. It's that thing that can help you with the busyness of business. Michelle just said it. We always say we don't have time. We don't have time to create the content. We don't have time to engage with the audience on our posts. We don't have time. AI is here, in particular, the AI influencer that we're speaking about today is an avenue that helps you manage that busyness of business and helps you to focus on where you need to be in your business, which is the strategy and driving your business forward, having time to look at the strategic things of the business rather than in the busyness of the business and getting caught up. So look to it as a tool that helps you on that side, on that side of things, to create efficient, streamlined processes within your business, so that by streamlining and becoming more efficient, you are eventually setting yourself up for a sustainable operation for now and in the future.
Yeah, give you ladies a round of applause. That was awesome. All right, so let's get to some of those key takeaways, right? So what are the key takeaways that we want for AI influencers? We want you to know that it's cost-effective marketing, right? Using these virtual ambassadors to promote your brands are super affordable, so you can absolutely do it. 24/7 engagement, just the opportunity to engage with your target audience 24/7. A lot of times they are researching you, looking at you when you are in bed sleeping. So this is another great opportunity here. that opportunity for consistent branding. They understand the tone of voice, they understand the brand, and they can always deliver the message. They can segment the message better than you can, probably. So using AI influencers for that. The data-driven content, the opportunity to provide and create content that is actually going to move people from that point of getting to know you to buying from you and saying this is the right content that moves them down that sales funnel that you craft in your customer journey. That's 100% where you want to be as well. Scalable and personalization, right? You want to be able to customize that marketing piece for that user experience. So each user is feeling, even though the messaging is the same and it's consistent, it's feeling like, hey, you know what? I'm talking to you. I am talking specifically to you. And that's what people want to feel. They want to see themselves reflected in the content. They want answers that sound like, hey, this is logical to me. This makes sense to me. So it's really about them. The opportunity to experiment in tech spaces, in new spaces, okay, that is like just pure A/B testing, and it gives you an opportunity, and it future-proofs your business, right? It gives you an opportunity to say, in the next 6 months, I can really expand in this space because here's what the data said to me. It said to me that people came in, they clicked, they signed up for emails. So there's an opportunity there for me to continue to build. So you want to think about those other spaces. There's a new platform born every Monday morning. And user participation, user-generated content. Getting customers to be involved in creating content is really great. And if an AI influencer can do that, that's something that you want. User-generated content validates your business, right? These users are saying, I want to engage with this brand because it makes me feel warm. It makes me feel something really good, that I have to create content to tell them how great they are, or just to participate in anything that you put forward, whether it's contests. Getting people to create user-generated content is not an easy thing at all. So it's like a gold mine when you do that. So these are key takeaways from this conversation today. I think it was such a great conversation. Round of applause for you ladies. Talking about AI, the AI influencer, we're seeing the rise of it, right? We're seeing it, the rise of the AI. It's so important. And I'm glad, Andrea, that you brought this to the table today and that we were all on board to do this, because it's good fun. So we are at that time of the show where we're like, ladies, we made it to the end of the show. I felt like it was so quick today. I was like, move, 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 move. But we made it to the end of the show. And you know what? We are always here on a Monday and Wednesday talking to you about your business and your business in digital. Our goal is to really help you achieve your business goals through all your digital marketing efforts. We understand that you're spending a lot of time and sometimes spending a lot of money with those digital marketing activities, right? So it's not easy. And that's why we do this show. We bring together a true small business here at this show. We have sales and pricing in the building with Miss Rochelle Gordon. We have the virtual CFO who is talking about finance. Usually Mr. Michael Wilshire is here with us, and he's talking about operations. And I talk about marketing and how we bring all those marketing pieces together and really bring these stakeholders to participate in the conversation so that we're making finance. Finance understands we can grow revenue by 10%, 20% year over year. And sales is understanding that we can help them get to marketing qualified leads. And operations, we're working with them to understand the process that we have to put in place to really be effective in these digital marketing activities. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell a business owner about this show. I want you to tell a business executive about this show. Tell them that they can connect with us anywhere. They can connect with us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. They can connect with us anywhere podcasts are found. We are here talking to you about how to achieve your business goals through digital and all your digital marketing efforts. It is the way forward, right? We are seeing it through AI, through everything. So we have to get our digital marketing strategies even tighter to really be able to use these AI tools and grow our business. So thank you so much for joining us. It is always a pleasure to be here. We will be back next week. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Hopefully Michael's back with us next week. I don't know how long his vacation really is. No shade.